G'day guys, just a quick update from me. So as you'll all know, the Auckland boys are all locked down on level 3. At this stage, they are actually all pretty much as busy as they were beforehand. Some cases even busier, so that's good. As you'll all know, traffic safes are deemed an essential service, so we're still able to operate. And actually, the government's left the schools open for essential services children, so clearly they expect us to keep operating. So in light of that, it's pretty much business as usual, other than making sure we follow the protocols around cleaning the trucks, sanitising, using hand sanitizer. I think all the boys have got masks in those yards now if you need them. All those sorts of things. We're running the sign-in registers, and we've got the COVID-19 Tracer app QR code thing up in all the branches. So make sure you're using those. We are tracking where everybody is via day diaries, which is pretty much business as usual as well. So we know who's been where and who they've been with. So for everybody in the south, it's business as usual with those contract tracing measures in place. One other thing is we probably just don't want to be congregating too much around the yard. So come into the yard, get your stuff sorted, and let's get out again and not be hanging around. Hopefully this is the whole breakout thing blows over soon and they get to the bottom of it and it's all tidied up. One other thing I'll throw in there is that with the wage subsidy stuff, we're not going to be eligible for that. So any financial impact on Traffic Safe will be borne by us. So let's make sure we stay efficient and we're coming into work and we're getting the job done and we're providing value to the client so that we can essentially keep charging and invoicing out and keeping everybody fed is the goal. Now, a couple of extra things. We had a truck that had a bit of a meltdown in the wiring loom, and we've traced that back to the wiring loom that's installed when we convert the truck to a traffic management vehicle. So just in the interim, if you've got a truck that's got a switch to turn the blue lights on and off, that turns the lightsabers on as well. If you could turn that off for us in the interim, we're just tracing the fault and we think it's got something to do with that. So if you can turn them off, that'd be good. Might save us having another meltdown. Now we also had an incident it was last week now on a site down in Ashurst where one of our TCs actually got run over by a trailer, which was being towed by a light vehicle, a ute. So I just want to talk to you a little bit about that. The guys it was the end of the day. The contractor was packing up, ready to go home. They had a long way to travel to go home. So things were happening reasonably quickly. The work site was congested and there was nowhere to park. So what's happened is the contractor has pulled up to the threshold and talked to the stop-go person, who's then talked to the TC who's actually in the site and said, hey, I want to come into the site. Doing this at the head of a queue and close to peak time has put some pressure on our guys, and so they've proceeded to let the contractor enter the workspace via the taper and through the safety zone. Whilst doing this, the line of cars following the contractor's vehicle hasn't stopped, so is essentially about to follow the contractor into the workspace. Now, our TC has seen this and moved to shift the cones and close the taper behind the work vehicle, but given the daylight, the darkness, and looking around trying to make sure that they stop vehicles coming in, hasn't seen the trailer, which wasn't a massive trailer, and has been I probably shouldn't say run over, more clipped, I guess, by the trailer as it's come into the site. Taken to hospital, tissue injury, no broken bones, which is great. Happy days, and on the track to recovery, so that's really good, first of all. But what it highlights to us, there's a couple of things that we need to remember. One, nobody enters through the taper, nobody enters through the safety zones. Please don't work there in those areas unless you're maintaining the site. Also, if you've got a contractor's vehicle that wants to enter the workspace, and you are on the stop go paddle, please stop the vehicle behind that vehicle, and it gives everybody a little bit more time for the work vehicle to enter the workspace a bit easier and safer. Also, in this case, the work vehicle didn't have a flashing beacon on the roof, so the member of the public following it had no way of knowing it was actually a work vehicle entering the site. So if you have contractors' vehicles on site with no flashing beacons, then they can't enter the workspace and they need to go and park somewhere else, and they're not allowed on site. We'll be sending out a safety alert about that as well, so please read it through. It'll be on your notice boards. And yeah, let's take some learnings from that, because we don't want anybody else run over, please. Now, along the involved in the same incident, I just want to give a shout out to Mandy, who was the STMS on that site. Her paperwork was immaculate, like really, really top notch. And when Pierre and I and Adrian from Palmerston North went along to the meeting where they sussed out what happened, it was awesome to stand there with the paperwork and go, we've got everything we need. We've got evidence of everything's been done. It made our life way, way easier. So a shout out to Mandy for that. Thanks, Mandy. Good job. Excellent. Really good. And so it highlighted to me the importance of making sure that stuff's done, and I want you all to make sure that you do that. I know it seems like you're doing the same thing over and over every day, but the minute there's an incident, it just saves all of us. And on that, I wanted to have a shout out to Amanda too. She's worked really hard to get our job packs all up to date and aligned, and that's just come out today. So there's a lot of compliance stuff, but that's why we're in this game. It's too hard for anybody else, and we're the experts, and Amanda's certainly demonstrating that, and the level of compliance that she's bringing to the business as well. So thanks, Amanda. Good work. That's about it. I'll keep it no longer than it needs to be. So, yep, happy days. Everything's good out there. Stay safe, and let's drive safely. Watch our following distances. One other thing, please use sandbags on your stands and bases. It's about to be windy the next few months. It always is in spring, so make sure we're using our sandbags. Thanks, guys. See you later.